Hello, welcome to the Nexus. Today we're going to be doing issues 63 to 68 of our 66 Batmobile. Let's get going. Okay, so in this one we're going to be starting. Now we've done all the electrics before, we've done the bottom of the chassis. There is one other thing that we do need to do, and that is issue 63, and that's the last little bit that we've got to fit on. And I have all the parts here. And we'll put them to the side because we're going to do 63 first. So basically we're going to need the car over, and we're going to need the little filler cap that we done in the previous issue 62. I do believe this was on, or no, it wasn't, it was 61. I think we done this. We get to fit this anyway. We're going to be putting in the trunk enclosure, or the boot space I should say, if you're from the UK. And we're going to be putting that on. Once we've done that, we're actually finished with the sort of car for now, because we're actually moving on to the interior section. So let's do 63 and then we'll carry on do the interior. Okay, so 63 is here, and I'm just going to just rip this open like this. There it is there. And like I said, we will need the trunk over, but before we do that, the car I should say, because this is the trunk liner, I do believe. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting this in, and this is going to sit like that, so it sort of sits at an angle like that. We're going to use some AP screws, so we've got some AP screws here. Put that down there. So we're going to need two of them. For some reason it's on two, so just up here. And just want to make sure that we get it right. That's it. There's the first one. And this is the second one. There we go. So that's how that bit should look. So it's sort of angled slightly. Okay, so we need to bring over the car now so we can install it. Okay, so as you can see, we now need to put this just on here like that. So that sort of sits on just like that. So this is the trunk compartment, or the boot compartment, depending on where you live in the world. We're going to need some. We'll do the CP screws first, because there's two of them. And so there's a bit of a difficulty when doing this sort of thing, so it's not all the same screws. So the first CM screws, they're going to go on the back section here. Oh, on the bat section like that. So just tie that in. And then the other CP screw goes on this side. If I can stop shaking for a second. There we go. That one goes in that. Nicely. So it does lift slightly, but it's obviously going to come down in just a second, because we're going to need AM screws. And I'm going to put the AM screws. There's two this side and two this side. Okay, so as you can see, we've now installed that. That is to sit on the there. That is this for issue 63. Now we're going to do issue 64, so we need to put this away again, because we won't be using that going forward for, I think, for quite a while. All will be explained. So let's put this away and get issue 64 out. Okay, so issue 64 is here, so let's just open it like that. We don't need a special cutting tool, geez, to open that. Right. So we do now have the lower well, this is like the footrest, and the pedals are going to go on. So this is like the lower sort of. So this is like the front bulkhead basically. So this is where the pedals will sit. They're going to sit obviously along here. But first, before we do that, we're going to stick some brackets on. So these are the brackets. So we need to make sure that they sit perfect like that. So we're going to use CP screws because that's the only bit that we're actually screwing in on this issue. So we've got 2 of these brackets. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw them up now. So there's one. That's there. They should go inwards, so we need to. It's weird because they go up. There we go. They sort of fit into little grooves. I'll show you the way that they sit on. Because obviously these are going to be screwed into another part. So basically they look like this. And they've got like groove intents on there, as you can see. And they sit that way round. So it sits like flush like that. Obviously the dashboard will sit on here, so I'm wondering whether this is where we stick the dash onto these parts like that. Okay, so that's like that. Next, we're just putting these, we're just literally sort of pushing these in. So this one here will go here. That just pushes in like that. We've got the silver one. If I just flick it over there maybe. So we've got the silver one that is just going to sit like that. Hang on a second, making sure that I don't snap this. There we go. So that's going to sit on like that, and then the foot rest sits on here. So this was an automatic then, was it? Is that correct? Because it looks like we've only got an accelerator and a brake. So, and you've got the footrests normally when it's automatic. But yeah, so we got the I think that's the brake, that's the accelerator there. But that's it for issue 64. So let's move on to 65. Okay, so issue 65 is this one. It looks like the cockpit floor, or the interior floor mount. Let me just take that out. By the way, if anyone wants to know, all this that we're doing right now is all plastic. So this is the front of the car. This is going to sit on here. It does have some guide pins. So we've got 2 little guide pins here that are going to sit in these holes. And it just sort of sits in like that. We're going to flip it over. We're going to use 2 CP screws. I've got one in here. There we go. And then we've got one in here. You know what I'm going to say? That's it. So that's it for issue 65. So we are burning through these issues really quickly. So we now have the floor plan of the interior, and you can see where it's going to sit. And obviously I would imagine the steering wheel will go through this section here, and we'll have the instrument panel and all that sort of stuff there. So we're going to do 66 next. 66 is an issue on its own, and we don't actually need this, so we need to put this aside. We're going to grab 66, which is sort of the interior panel. Let's just keep going. No need to stop because that didn't take us very long. So this is 66, and we have So this is the center column, I do believe, the center controls section, and we get some seat belts. So what we need to do is make sure these are the right way round. So we're going to stick that one on that side there, and that one on this side, and we're going to stick the longer bits through this area. So there is like a little slot there that they go through. I think I might get a pair of tweezers for this because it looks like it needs that. So something like that. So the first one is going to go through here. So it's the gap there is a lot smaller than this, so I'm going to fold it, clamping it together, pushing it through. Or maybe not. Right, so basically what we got to do is push these through. Yeah, so they're going to go through there. So, I mean, it's going to look really boring if I carry on doing this, because it's just going to be a bit of a pain to push through. I'm wondering whether not just to push it through. Nope, because that does go through, so that's good to know. Okay, so it's going to take me a bit of time, but I don't want to just so it has to go through a certain way, so let's so fold it and then pull it through, so like that, little bit, so it's just through like that, and we'll do the same on this side. So what I basically do is fold this bit, so it's sort of like that. And feed this through the gap. It has to be folded exact, otherwise there's a bit of trouble getting through. Like I said, this is boring, right? Me trying to thread a seatbelt through a little hole. Once it's like partially through, we can grab it. Yay. Poke it right through, that's it. There we go. Okay, so now we can now line it out like that, that's it. And then all we've got to do is just tie this at the bottom here. So, I don't know how much, it doesn't tell you, like first, how to tie it through. Or how much to tie through. It's just a bit strange. So I'm going to tie that. Okay, so as you can see, I literally just tied it in a knot. But it doesn't say how much to do, but I have left enough so it can be shortened or looser at either end. But I think that is going to sit sort of like that. They are the same length as well. So I don't know how I managed that. But I managed to be the same length. Anyway, that's how they sit, like that. Ta-da! Okay, so that is issue 66 done. Let's move on to issue 67. Okay, so can someone tell me... Now, I did watch the series. I haven't watched it recently, let's put it that way. I do remember watching it. But you need to help me out on this, guys. So, and you'll see the confusion in just a moment. So, we are building the gear shifter. So this is the gears here, just here, and we're going to put that in here. Now the first thing that is a little bit wrong is, yeah, so that goes through there. So there is a ball joint on one end, and this gets fed through. That sort of sits like that. Then this is going to go up through the gap here. That is going to sit. If we can push it up, that's it, like that. So that sits like that. Then we're going to grab our bracket here. This is going to basically stop that coming through. So we've got AKP screws, two of them. Now the first confusion comes from is that the pedals for this indicates it's not a manual, yet we're just sticking a gear shifter in. So can someone explain to me? And also, and I won't spoil it because there's no need to, but in the next issue we do something else, and I'm going to come on to that in the next issue, obviously. Now I do know that this car is based on a lot of the part work cars are based on replicas of the main car. If they can't get hold of the main car and they can't get scans, they tend to go to a sort of a replica of the car. So we've got the gear shifter here, which is just silver, and that has got a little hole on it, and that is just going to go on like that. That's it, like that. And then we are going to put on this mount, which is going to sit here. So this is for the bat phone to sit on. And we're going to use these AKP screws again. So one is going to sit here. And one at the top there. It's right down in this corner here, right down here. Okay, so this is the gear shifter, which is cool, and it works. Well, by the way, that's the end of issue 67. We're going to come on to our last issue now. So the pedals for this, which are just here. Now the actual accelerator pedals come out again, so I might daub a little bit of glue onto that just to secure it down. Okay, so there's no clutch pedal there. And I do believe the engine, it's automatic. So why does it have a gear shifter? Don't worry, it's going to get more confusing as we move on to the next issue. So let me move on to issue 68, which is here. We're going to open this up like that. Poke that out. So these are all the parts, and like I said, it's about to get a bit more confusing in terms of all of this. We need to put that aside because actually I don't think we need that centre bit now, because we're actually working on the, it says instrument panel and buttons, which are here. So these are the instrument panels and buttons, and we've got some buttons here. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to put one of these buttons, which look like a an air thing, airflow thing. So these have only got, they've got like half moons on them, so they're only going one way, and then we've got to stick the other one onto here. So they just push fit in, and it's a tight fit, and it's only half like a circle shape or a moon shape, and just push it straight on like that. This one is then going to sit, this panel here is going to sit on here. Once again, it's just a push fit, so we need to just push this down like so. So that sits like that. Now, this is where it's going to get more confusing. Someone's got to tell me this. Okay, so we're now going to put this on here because we're now building the gear shifter. So don't pull that all the way through like I just did. So we stick this ball bit, the ball joint is up there. We're going to push this through here like so, and that is going to sit. Now this has got to be pushed all the way up, and it's on a sort of a rubber, so it does sort of, there we go. So it sort of sits all the way. Then we've got another join section here, so we're just going to put that on there. We've got some AP screws, so these are the only AP screws we're going to use. So you can see my confusion, and we'll come on to that in just at the end of the video here. And I want to know where this is going to sit. I haven't watched the series in some time, so maybe someone out there can tell, or maybe it's just because they copied the sort of replica car of it. I don't know. Okay, so next bit is we're going to stick our gear shifter here. So that's just going to plug in. So that's like that. And then we've got this cover here, which is going to sit on the front here. And then that just plugs in as well, like so. So where's the confusion come? We've got two gear sticks. I don't know where does this sit? Does this sit here? Yeah, does that sit on there like that? So the back phone goes down here. We've got a gear shifter and the gear shifter. Is this for the booster maybe? So this is how he changes gears, and you know he's going into first, second. I don't know how he's changing gears, by the way, because there's no clutch pedal. So I don't know what is happening here. Someone please tell me in the comments why this is. But yeah, obviously this is going to sit on here. I have seen a replica of the car. I can't remember if it has both bits or not. I'm pretty sure it does. But yeah, look, I'll bring it over again. So obviously this is going to sit on here, isn't it? I mean, that's where that's going to sit, right? Just like that, right? No, there's no, unless there's a secret pedal, I don't know. There's no clutch pedal here. This here, before anyone goes, wow, that's just a footrest. It even says it in the magazine. The accelerator and the brake. No clutch pedal. So how? Clearly this is just, I mean, I have been, argument's sake, I have been in automatics where it does have a similar sort of thing. But then, what's this one for? They're both marked as being gear sticks, and I'll prove it in the magazine. So we've got issue 68, issue 67. It says gear shifter fitting for gear shifter, building the gear shifter. Please help. I don't know. Look, I know it's going to be brilliant. I know it's going to be good, but as a car guy, you can sort of see where I'm coming from. You have to, right? It's looking great. I've got, you know, despite this sort of thing, it's looking really cool. And I love the fact that these can move as well, which is nice. A nice little touch. We do get a phone holder there. I'm not going to put the phone in just yet. but we are starting on the interior, which is cool. Okay, so that does bring us to the end of this latest pack. As you can see, I'm confused, but one of you out there in the ethos will know what exactly is going on here. But yeah, I mean, I think that's for the, is that for the booster? So he sort of yanks it back to activate the boost. And then why does it have a manual gear stick? If we're talking about cars from the era, I believe a lot of the automatic ones were on the steering wheel. I think they were shifting like this. Is it also going to have that? I mean, maybe this was just for show. I don't know. Maybe it was part of the original car, the both bits, and the car that they scanned was an automatic. But this is just for show. I don't know. I'm not going mad. Oh, I am, but anyway. Anyway, look. Yeah, leave your answer on a postcard. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you click like, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It doesn't do anything for you. It massively helps the channel. So always give it a thumbs up, guys, please. And that is it from us here at the Nexus. Thank you for watching. We'll see you at the next video. But until then, take it easy and we'll see you later. Take it easy.
Tune into the channel. Nexus is the name. All the hardest content, you'll never be the same. Laughs and thrills, excitement.